Hey guys, welcome back to the show. All right, another day, another podcast. Lucky us, huh? Do a little rant, all right? Little lay it on you, a little personal, little what the heck are we even talking about? Oh, update. The knee's way better. Okay. For those of you just joining, I had a traumatic knee surgery injury from a striped bass. Dorsal fin broke off under my kneecap. Surgery. Long story short, we're doing way better. All right, almost still a little funny, but like, all right, let's get into it, Brad. Let's talk about this. I finished one cycle of the antibiotics they gave me, this doxycycline, the stuff they give you for Lyme's disease. And things feel good. I did it. I took it. I took the whole thing. It was turning me into a vampire. It made me a little sensitive to the light. I didn't like it. I know infection. So I did it. I was a little late to the game. Everything seems all right. But they told me there was like some like little trace of like a rare staph fasciitis that they found in there. This is a while. This is weeks ago. And they're like, we're going to put you on another. Oh, God, Brad, I don't want to get into this. It's going to bring me down. I should just take it. Anyway, they said you should go get on another cycle, the doxycycline, and go talk to this infectious disease specialist. And I went and got the second round of doxycycline, but I haven't started taking it yet. Just because I feel so good, and I know it could be festering from the inside, so it's not good. I'll start taking it. I'm going to start taking it again. Maybe I'll even call that guy. God damn it! Oh, it's been on my mind. That's why we're talking about it. Okay, I didn't want to. It's like enough, Brad. Jesus Christ, who wants to listen to this? But that's where I'm at. Anyway, today's Friday. Solo dad for the weekend. All right, good old Peggy Pagoots, my partner in crime of this family farm fun that we're doing over here. She's in New York City with some girlfriends having a grand old time, and that's great. And me and the boys are gonna go. Me and Griffin and Callan, my sons, 9 and 7, beautiful little boys, little young men. And I'm gonna bring them up too. I had a really great time. I was doing a shoot last weekend with my friends from Extra Tough, the old boot company, and apparel and all just awesome stuff. If you're not familiar, checking them out. They're freaking. I've been working with them for a while and just been a huge fan of the brand for forever. But anyway, I was up there doing a shoot with them and this guy Forrest. Oh Christ, sorry, Forrest Mankin. He's a photographer. Check him out. Badass, cool, really nice guy. And he has a show that we was doing with Extra Tough, and they had me come up and join him. And we did it was a blast. We went out fishing up in Cape Cod is where I met him. Sorry, I'm the worst storyteller. And we went out there. We had a blast, man. We went up and we went out with the Capt, and we went and we caught some mackerel real quick, some Atlantic mackerel, which I absolutely love. If you're a fan or a friend, a follower of, if you know me, you know I like eating mackerel and smaller fish. So we went up there and we caught a bunch of them, which I absolutely love. I could do that for hours. I could just go mackerel fishing, little sabiki jigs. Whap, 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 whap. I pulled up freaking 3 or 4 at a time. It's just grill them up, cook them whole, smoke them, put them on fry them in pork fat. Oh, God, cure them. But it's just a really cool old Portuguese fishing town. A lot of restaurants, very dog friendly, which is cool. And, just beautiful, dramatic old fishing town. Lots of great bars, like bars that you want to like either have a beer in or like ruin your life in. You know what I mean? Just people have done both for sure. Dungeons, but like in the best way. God, just like something like out of a book, and that's that kind of place. And it's just gorgeous. And what a beautiful time of year. Anyway, I stayed up there for a night. We did a little squid fishing. So long story long, I'm bringing solo dad. I'm bringing the boys up there. All right, today's Friday. I'm going to pick them up early from school after we do this little podcast number. All right, I'm going to pack the stuff up, bring the bikes. We're going to go biking out. And I'm bringing the dog. I'm bringing Bonnie. The hotel, the Harbor Hotel right on the freaking coast there. Place is a gem. Right by, what's across the street besides the water? A place called Dog Beach, all right, where you can let your dog run without a leash and frolic in the water like a happy little canine, like our little baby girl Bonnie, Boom Boo Bear that we call her. She's just a part of the family, and she's coming with us. All right, Peg's missing out. Me and the boys and our girl Bonnie, we're going up to P-Town, baby. Let's go. All right, what am I going to do? Put the kids to bed, eat some mushrooms with the dog? I don't know. I'm just kidding. What are we talking about? What are we even talking about? Hey, let's take some calls. It's a new part of the show that we're doing every time, unless you guys don't participate, and then maybe I'll just have to make them up. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, we're going to be taking some calls. I got an email. It's called layitonbradleone@gmail.com. Okay, you go ahead and you send a voice message, a video message. I love them all. Send a video or a voice meme or a memo. Go ahead and send me a video of a question, any question. It could be about your marriage. It could be about the solar system. It could be about aliens. It could be about Epstein files. I don't care. All right, first call's from Mike. Here we go. Let me cook. Oh, what are we? Oh, it's a video. Video.
Hey Brad, this is Mike from the UK. I live near a city called Bristol.
Mike from the UK, love it, buddy boy. All right, enough, friend.
Which is to the west of England, near Wales. And I've got a question about some booch, some blighty booch to be precise. This kombucha, it comes. Don't know if you can see this.
Blighty booch. That's the most English shit I ever heard. Blight. I mean, isn't that like something trees get or people like everyone's dying or something? Blighty booch. Who named it that? What does blight mean? I should probably look that up. Anyway, carry on, Mike. Sorry.
So there's a couple of little scobies in there. And I was thinking that what I could do is I could let these scobies grow a bit and then use those to make some of my own kombucha in future. So I was just wondering, what do you think I should actually do in terms of how much liquid is in here? Do I want to feed the scobies in any way? Currently, I've just left them in like a little bit of, of the kombucha, just to see if they start growing. And I think they have done. Again, kind of hard to see on the camera, but I think they've started to grow a bit. Yeah, what should I put them in? Should I add some more water? Should I add some more tea? Should I add some sugar? Currently, I've just got letting it sit on the counter, so it's somewhere a bit warmer than the fridge so that they grow a bit faster. But yeah, let me know. Thanks a lot.
Wow, Mike, I tell you what, checked all the boxes, bud. Told me where you were. You got a great question. Blighty's Booch. I mean, what a name. But boy, I got some answers for you. And it seems like you were right on the right track there too. So you do have some really wonderful SCOBY development in that bottle there. Some nice little symbiotic community of bacteria and yeast forming that like big old boogery looking thing in the water there. Same with like vinegar. You get the mother. This is like the mother, the SCOBY of your kombucha. So you want to go ahead, you can put that into a bigger jar, and there's all kinds of ratios. I forget, it's like 7 grams of tea for 70 grams of sugar for 1 quart of water. Look it up online, kombucha recipe formulas. I forget what the heck. I have it written down too. I haven't done it in a little while. But anyway, that's what you want to do. And then you just feed it, and then it's just by taste. I got a good video or two online on the old YouTube page, but check it out. If you want to go down that rabbit hole with me. But it's pretty straightforward stuff. And you just want to catch it at the right time when you are feeding it. But they're pretty resilient. You can kind of, it's really just going to affect the outcome of your final product and your secondary fermentation and a bottling and carbonation and your flavors and sweetness and tartness on that, acidity wise. But for the most part, you can really neglect those things, so don't be afraid if you're a bad SCOBY dad and, you forget it for 6 months on the counter. It's going to be fine. It's going to be vinegar, but you just go ahead and give it a good old feeding. Oh, and last tip for you, Mike, just when you do feed it, you don't want to shock it with super cold, tea, sugar tea, water tea, sweet tea, basically. You want to do it and make sure that the water you put in there is like room temperature or slightly above, a whisper above room temperature just for a nice little cozy tuck in. But good fermentation luck to you, bud. And thanks for calling in. And yeah, we have a guest today. Speaking of like forks in the roads and starting something that's crazy that you love and taking a chance. All right, you ain't no crabber. All right, we got a really cool guest today, Mr. Luke McFadden, all the way down from we're down in freaking Maryland. All right, he's down there in the Chesapeake crabbing. Maybe you've seen him on the YouTubes, on the Instagrams, on the TikToks. And he's a stud. We went down and did a Local Legends video with him. You could check out the full episode on my YouTube channel. We went down, we went crabs, we learned about it. And today we're going to dig in a little bit more and pick his brain. Luke, bud, welcome to the podcast, man. Thanks for joining.
What's up, man? Hey, can you give me 1 sec? I'm not gonna screw this whole thing up if I
absolutely.
Okay, all right, great. I'm so sorry.
No, don't be. You know, is it?
I was just
Luke,
like,
man.
I'm in the office and I was like, I got to tell him not to use power tools in the shop real quick.
Well, thank you for shutting down operations over there, and thanks for joining, man. I gave a little introduction to folks who might not know who you are, but just Luke the Crabber, man. We did a video together a while back on Local Legends, and I've been following you for a while, and stoked to have you on, man, and just talk crabs, talk Luke, and I love that you said you don't have a computer. You had the wrong headphone. I don't think you read the email from our editor, Kate, but that's fine. I would expect nothing. I'm just blown away that you don't have a computer. I think and then you said maybe I should get one. At this point, Luke, I don't think so.
That's what I'm saying. I got enough trouble. I don't need with electronic stuff. I don't need anything else, I don't think. I mean, yeah, people are shocked when they hear I don't have a computer, but I don't know. I shoot every video and edit everything on my cell phone because, like, I'm just I'm not a big tech guy. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
clearly.
I do. I do. And you know what? To be honest, these days, I mean, what you say cell phone, but it really is a little computer. I mean, that thing, they cost like, I don't even know what they cost. What, I don't know, over $1,000 probably for a new one, right?
Heck yeah. Dude, phones are really expensive. I was going to buy a phone to get a new filming phone, and that new iPhone is like $1,700 or something. I was like, holy crap. Yeah. And they were like, it's thinner and smaller and sleeker. And I was like, I don't want any of that. I'll look at that thing wrong and snap in half. I was like, cool. If they made a Nokia that shot video like an iPhone, I'd have a fleet of them.
You needed, I don't know how old you are, Luke, but you needed the old Nextels. You remember the Nextel? They had like the construction. It was like a brick.
Yeah,
you could like two-way radio other Nextel people.
I like the called jitterbugs or something. Or
no, jitterbugs for the old people.
Yeah, dude. It was like the one they sold at Costco. By the hearing aid section.
Yeah, like the thing was, it's like the buttons.
Yeah, the buttons are like that big, right next to the. You remember seeing those giant remotes that were like that big you could like stomp on the buttons.
I got an idea for you, Luke. You get a little Starlink out on the crabbing boat, and you mount that thing. You mount the jitterbug right to the wall.
Dude,
anyone wants to call you, they gotta call you. They gotta call the jitterbug.
Dude, I'm telling you, my goal. People are like, with all the stuff we got going on or whatever, they're like, what's your goal? Where are you going with this? I was like, if I can, like, one day just take my phone and wing it off the boat and then be fine, dude, that's the goal, ain't it? Like, I'll go live in the woods or something, like, I don't need much. I'm a pretty simple guy, obviously.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, man. God bless you. And so, Luke, man, I mean, you've been a commercial crabbing for blue crabs, right? Was that Atlantic blue crabs, all right?
Mm-hmm. Calnectus sapitus.
Yeah, that's it. Beautiful swimmer.
Yep.
And you've been doing that for quite some time now, or if not your whole life in some way, right?
Yeah, this is my 11th season on my own boat. So I'm 29 now, but I started like with another guy helping like his crew when I was like 11 or 12. I think I was like 12 years old. And, I would help in the yard building crab pots and all, and then he needed help on the boat. And so I would, go help him on the boat. And I just kind of stuck with it till I was 18. And then, went off and did my own thing. And, been doing it ever since. So season number 11, almost wrapped up.
Wow. Oh yeah, is that right? Sure.
Yeah.
Season number 11, man. So what, you started at 18 years old or something like that, on your own boat, but were you always into catching critters from the sea, or I mean, it's a very unique, were your parents into the crabbing business, or how the heck did you get into that?
Yeah. Now I'm first generation. So,
That's it, baby.
yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. Like, I got into introduced to the outdoors. My dad, he lives up in like Northwest Pennsylvania. And so he got me into hunting and fishing and all. I was raised here in Pasadena, Maryland, but, surrounded by the water. We're on peninsulas down here. So, I just always loved fishing. I love to hunt too. But I really love fishing because it was so accessible. And I was always trying to find a way, like I bought a boat when I was 11 and a little rowboat, and I built a little cart for it to cart it down the street. And I would, we lived pretty close to the water, so I would like cut people's grass and all if they would let me, put the boat in or fish at their pier or whatever. And I
Cool.
guess the first thing I was really catching was grass shrimp. I used to dip grass shrimp and salt them and sell them to people fishing. And then I got into like catching eels and crabs,
Oh,
and all
real
that kind
quick,
of
Luke,
stuff.
real quick. The grass shrimp, you talking like little 1 inch kind of
Yeah.
translucent.
Yeah.
Absolutely delicious.
Really?
Oh my God. So if you have good access to them in some good waters, get them. They're easy to clean. You can fill buckets of them, right? Like, and just bring them home, pat them dry, and then just fry them in like a shallow olive oil.
Huh.
And they crisp up into like they taste like little snappy soft shell crab bites. Like they're unbelievable.
Really? That is interesting. I never really thought about. I mean, I have eaten them. Like we used to do this thing.
Just like
To-
pop them in your
Yeah,
mouth
like
live.
to mess with like a new guy or something on the boat. You know what I mean? Where like it's just a little ass shrimp. You just eat a little, eat the shrimp, and they're like, this guy's crazy. You gotta sometimes, you gotta act a little crazy on the first couple of days of a new guy to, so they're not, so they kind of get the
You
gist
gotta
of
be crazy to
you
be
know
a
what I'm saying?
crabber, you know.
Oh
You
yeah,
gotta be a
no
little
doubt,
crazy.
dude. You gotta have
Yeah.
some screws loose to like do this.
I love it, man. I've been recently, before we go down a rabbit hole with you, I've been getting into the crabbing a lot. I grew up doing it a bit, but I got a little John boat last year, and a little 15 horsepower 2-stroke little kicker on there. And we go out at night with the lights, me and the boys and stuff, and with the little nets, and we just, man, we whack them sometimes. Big old chunkers, and nothing like it. We get a lot of soft shells, they'll be like paired up together.
Oh yeah,
And little 2 for 1 there, and it's always like a big male clenched up on us like a soft shell female.
yeah. We call them
Usually.
doublers here.
The doublers, I like the doublers.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. I actually saw that video on Instagram. Your upside down video with the yacht boat.
Yeah,
I was dying.
Yeah, blue. Yeah, we have that in common of our. So, you seem to have it a little harder than me, but the inability to sometimes use technology properly.
I'm technologically impaired, but
Ain't nothing wrong with that, man.
I
think,
guess I apologize for all the, whatever with the podcast, man. I'm sorry.
No, stop. This is awesome. And for someone who makes a living nowadays, or at least a part of your life, of it is on social media. You have such a big presence on there, showing you out on the boat catching crabs, and just like a little behind the scenes and a little slice of you and your ingenuity and stuff. It's awesome, man. So it sounds like when you were a kid, you kind of always had that little tinkering, do DIY kind of little hustle to you.
Yeah, I mean, I was always kind of trying to make like, I don't know, work or like, like kind of a job out of what I was really interested in. So like anything I was like really focused, dialed in on, like obsessed with whatever, I was always trying to figure out, is there a way I could like make this, make money doing this, or like, a job? I don't know, just kind of like, I guess entrepreneurial in a way, as much as you can be being that old, but so I don't know, social media kind of, I don't know. I mean, I started making just TikToks to try to like sell my crabs, like, cause
Right.
I was just trying to sell them direct to customer, and then that kind of snowballed into what we have now. So,
Yeah, you were just using it as a little marketing sense, to try to sell crabs. Are you on your own boat at this point?
Yeah. I had been selling to like buyers for like 7 years or something like that.
Yeah.
And, just being young in the industry, I mean, the average age of a commercial crabber in Maryland is 58. And
Yeah,
I'm 29. So, I'm like half the age and I probably bring that average down quite a bit. Um,
sure.
so I was selling to market, but, in the long game, it's kind of a tough way to go because you're not setting the price for your own product. It's kind of like farming.
Right.
And then there's a lot of competition with crabs from out of state and also meat, like crab meat from overseas and
Well, it's a
everything.
race to the bottom at that point, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
kind of. So, you kind of got to I just say you got to make the most out of everything that comes over the rail. You got to get the best money for it you possibly can, and like kind of value added in a way where you can't, you can only sell a crab one time, right?
sure.
But with social media, you can kind of sell the story in a lot of ways, and stuff like that. It kind of helps. And then selling direct to customer, I always say it's like 5 times the work for 3 times the money is
Right.
kind of an appropriate like ratio because it's an absolute boatload of work literally to sell direct to customer, but also, um, you know, you're getting the most amount of money for your product and you get to control what you're getting and whatever else.
Well, yeah, I love that. I mean, you can take pride. It's not just another crab in the barrel. It's your crabs. You know what I mean? It's like your brand. Your care, your little tricks of the trade to, for the better crab or the better, shelf life or experience or whatever it may be. Right. Like, I like that. Like, if I was a commercial fisher, if I grew radishes, like my radishes are special because they're mine. They're not just
Right.
radishes. I think.
Yeah. And then when people are interested in the story and then they have a way to become involved, like by watching videos,
So how
uh,
long you been doing this? The putting it online, and would you start it on TikTok? Because it's
yeah,
it's awesome.
I think like 4 years now I've been making videos and all. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure it's been like 4 years, but yeah, I mean, like, I was trying to find solutions to, the problem of selling wholesale and not, whatever else. So I was like, man, I don't have any of the money that these established guys already have. They have crab houses and this and that, but everybody's always on their phone and there's nobody online doing it. It's kind of an opening in the market. And, you know, honestly, the industry's kind of run by older people, a lot of dinosaurs that have been doing it the same way for a long time. And I get it because it works. There's no reason for them to change, but, just really it kind of just became marketing the product differently, um, and yeah, I just started making TikToks because it was easy. Obviously, if I can do it, it's pretty
For
easy. So
sure.
I just shot it with my phone. And, I was always like, man, people are always asking me questions about my job and what I do and how it works and whatever. So I just kind of made videos starting to answer those questions and, I don't know, share what I know about stuff and kind of show the good, the bad, and the ugly of what it takes to like get a product from the water to you. Like people don't understand. They just see crab prices and they're like, holy crap, that's insane. But nobody ever kind of tells the story of like, okay, this is actually what it takes. Like there's a lot of just work. Everything in the industry is just a lot of work,
Well,
to get
that's
there. And there's always things
oh
going wrong, you know?
oh it must be. I mean, the path to the from when you started to where you're at now. I'm sure you must have seen it all, man. But like that is, you make a cool point about like being able to share, and I forget sometimes like how awesome it is to be able to shoot something however you want and showcase it however you want. Like when I was little, if I wanted to see how a crabber, either you had to know someone or be in the lifestyle, or like there was a show, and there wasn't, but like there was like a show on TV, which was like, like you're only seeing so much of the reel on like a travel channel in the 2003 or something about commercial fishing. You know what I mean? Like it's a pretty
Yeah.
curated show, all that stuff. So like YouTube and the social media and stuff really just like someone like you who, you've mentioned 3 times, you're not that great with the technologies, but like can start and showcase something in a real way that it's not a surprise that it took off.
It was a surprise to me. I mean, I guess, I mean, it certainly is to, what it is now. Like, I just never in a million years would have expected, any of that stuff to kind of happen for it to go the way it has. But, it's really cool to see, man. And the other thing is on a television show, they're not going to show you when you show up to the boat and somebody didn't show up, and then you got to go work shorthanded, and then something goes wrong with the boat, and you got to fix it on the fly with what you have, and then the weather gets nasty, and you still got to catch the crabs because you have orders, and you get them in, and the refrigerator breaks. You know what I mean? Like that's all the stuff that goes into like the day to day of trying to make this work, and that's all the kind of stuff that people don't no television shows would never show, but the kind of the beauty of social media is like you have kind of control over what you put out, and you can show as much or as little as you want. So I think it's interesting for people to see like, oh wow, that's didn't realize that's all that went into just
Yeah.
getting crabs to the table here.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the first time it really hit me is like when I first started like buying crab. Because when I was younger, I would go out with my dad and we'd catch them or something. And we didn't live that close to the water. It was a couple hours away, but we loved them. And it was always like a thing in the summer. We would get some. But I remember one time I was in New York in the city and I had to get a bushel of crabs and I went to like Greenpoint or somewhere. I forget where the hell I went to get them, somewhere in Brooklyn. And it was like $200 and something. Like, what? But like when you think about it, I mean, that's a ton of crab. And to get all that, like you mentioned, like the boat, which everyone knows ain't nothing cheap about a boat, and then diesel for God's sakes, and then just everything about it, you know what I mean? And and that's what's cool that you showcase is like how much work actually does go into it. And fortunately, if you are filming it and it is entertaining, it sounds like and seems like a person like you, like there's endless, it kind of never ends.
Yeah,
Some new shit.
Yeah, I mean, how content works. You gotta always come up with new stuff and whatever else. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely there's no shortage of content, that's for sure, and for all this.
When you got into doing the videos and stuff, did you have an infrastructure or a system to sell directly to people that were like were you directing into a website, or how'd you like capitalize on that?
Dude,
probably nightmare.
Dude, it was an absolute nightmare. So the very first year I made videos, the first summer I made videos, I still sold to market. And I didn't want to just, jump out of, all the markets I had built up over the last 7 years and try to go right to customer. So I was trying to come up with kind of a plan. I was trying to build something up a little bit before I took the leap, because you kind of like, once you start selling your own, you kind of can't sell wholesale. Just because buyers don't want to buy, because they always assume that you're going to sell them the leftovers or you're going to pull the big crabs or whatever. So
they blacklist you?
Basically, yeah. So like you kind of have to do one or the other. So I was like really had to be prepared. But I had bought like a little piece of property in town here that year, trying to prepare to do something. And, it was a dump. I spent a year getting it all nice and clean and whatever. And, the next year, the second year I did videos, I was like, all right, I'm selling my own, like, hell or high water, I'm burning the boats. You know what I mean? Like when we get there, like I'm going to figure it out, all in 100% in, there's no option for failure.
No plan B.
No plan B. But I had like, I wasn't making any money on videos. Like there was no money in videos then. Like, so.
Right.
I literally just got a second phone number, and I didn't even have a refrigerator or anything. And I was catching crabs, and I was just sitting in the bed of my truck with a sign I built on a jet ski trailer on the side of the road. And the first day, one person showed up. And then, it was really not much better than that for like the next couple weekends. It was like, dude, I was like, holy crap, what have I done? Like,
right.
It was a mess.
Yeah.
It's because I had a lot of crabs to move. We're fishing a full rig, and I'm not selling anything. So I ended up buying like a refrigerated trailer that I could tow up there to keep things longer and whatever. And I had 1-2 customers a day, and then I was like starting to sell crabs every day. I sold crabs 7 days a week because I thought I could just move them all on the weekends back then, and not like nobody was showing up. So. Literally my routine would be in the morning on the boat ride out, I start a Facebook page to sell them. I would write a Facebook ad. I'd have pictures, that I was taking all the time, and I would write the Facebook ad, and I would have the phone number at the bottom, And I would have people text me orders during the day while I was out crabbing. I say, you know, you have to have your orders in by whatever time. And then when I got back, I would take all the orders. I would write their names on paper bags, put the paper bag in a plastic bag. I put together all their orders and then go meet them in like a parking lot in town. And then on the weekends, I would tow the trailer up to my lot that I had and sit in the trailer in a lawn chair and sell crabs Friday evening, Saturday, and Sunday all day. And then every night I was editing videos. So it was like, dude, it was way too much. I mean, in the beginning, obviously, it was like, all right, but it was not a sustainable thing. And, I did that for like a couple years, that whole routine it was just a grind, dude, to like try to establish.
If you didn't get into crabbing and got into like selling pharmaceuticals or medical implants, you would be a multi-millionaire by now. Their hustle and like, I love it, man. I think, and I'm just joking around, but like,
you're probably right.
Yeah, for sure, dude. You're a maniac, and like that's what you need, and that's what I love. Like there was no plan B, and like selling a live product. That's like another thing. You're not making bars of soap that you can just like keep in a bin. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's like
critters
the most perishable product out there.
Right, because crabs, no one wants a dead crab. No one's buying a dead crab.
Right, 100%. And then on top of that, I was still crabbing full time. We had 1,000 pot plus rig out. I'm running a 3-man crew. We were crabbing 5 days a week. And that's a full-time gig.
Yeah.
As it is. That's a load of work. And then to take on all that by yourself, it was just like, it was
awesome.
It was way more than I was just naive, but it worked out. Sometimes you just gotta bootstrap it, man. You just gotta when you don't actually have the means to do what you want to do, you gotta just make up for it some way or another. And it was. Well, I hope I never have to go back to doing that because it was like too much. That was.
Well, I think a lot of people share a story kind of like that, where it's like whether it's some type of people who have made a success in something like that, where it's like at some point usually you like put in some it's almost like you didn't have another choice and you just kind of people do what they got to do. I mean,
yeah.
Like you were, and like not to just discredit like your ex going above, and really, I mean, you sounds like it made sense to quit a lot of times. Having that like I'm all in, it's just it's awesome, man. It's awesome to hear people when they have a story like that, because it's inspiring.
I appreciate it, man. It's I'm glad it worked out, but
yeah,
it's just one of those things where I'm just stubborn, and like there was not an option to fail. You know what I mean? It was just, and the thing is, it made sense to quit for like the first 5 years of me crabbing. Everybody was like, "You're an insane person," but I mean, like commercial fishing is basically the definition of insanity. Like you do the same thing every day, expecting a different result. So it's like to make a career in something that is literally the definition of insanity, you gotta have, you gotta be a little hard-headed and a little too dumb to quit sometimes, is what I say. So,
well, you love it, man, right? There's something cool. It sounds like and I love the water and being out on it, and like, I'm assuming you go out in the morning and like, it better than anyone, right? Like them early mornings sometimes, even though it's hard and it's this and that, but it's like, what an office, man. Like I couldn't sit in some I couldn't, you know what I mean? I couldn't sit in some office or something like, and my brain would be bouncing off the walls.
Yeah, I'm not good at sitting still, really. Right. So, I'm always trying to do stuff and whatever. And you're right, man. It's like, I don't know. It's kind of like the last frontier in a lot of ways, fishing, because it's, you're out there and it's just kind of like, it's you and nature. It's kind of a chessboard, and like, you get out what you put in, and if you want to do better, you gotta work harder. And I don't know, it's freeing, honestly. It's like a really kind of a freeing feeling being able to work out there and do what you want for the most part, within the bounds of the law.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Cool.
Hey, when did you get into or ever try, like when you were reaching out online? And what's cool about online is that people are all over the place, right? Did you ever, or do you ship to people?
Yeah, so we ship crabs anywhere in the country now.
Live?
Steamed. Yeah, we've tried live, and we have not had great success with live. So yeah, I partner with this restaurant called Jimmy's Famous Seafood that's in Baltimore here,
Cool.
and we actually now have a whole like bunch of product lines and stuff that we've partnered on that are in grocery stores and all kinds of stuff. But we also ship crabs anywhere. So since crabs are such a perishable product, and we eat crab Monday through Friday and then sell Saturday, Sundays, if there's any crabs left over, on Sunday, all those crabs go to Jimmy's to be steamed, packed, and shipped for our orders. And then a lot of the crabs that we catch on Mondays will go to have the same deal. So there's like zero waste. You know what I mean? Because one of the terrible kind of crappy things is that, a lot of crab places that they have a bunch of crabs or whatever, left over after the weekend, which is the busy time, obviously. A lot of them are just going to die in the walk-in, because they're not going to live until, they're going to try to sell them during the week, but they're not all going to live. So there's a lot of waste. So this is something that, we can have pretty much zero waste, except for the dead loss, obviously, which is just facts of life. But
Right.
I don't know. It's, trying to make the most of everything that comes over the rail.
Can you do like what they do with lobsters? Can you have like a crab pound?
No, you can't.
Doesn't
really
work?
No, we've kind of tried it, and it doesn't really work like that with crabs, unfortunately. Yeah. It'd be nice if it did, though. It'd be really nice if it did.
Right, just stack them up in there for a while.
Yeah.
So what the process now is getting them cold, or you keep them? What's the best way to handle a crab, Luke, once you do catch it?
So to maximize survival for the crabs, right? Like we shake them into like an ice bath on the boat, so they get shook.
Fresh water.
What is it?
Fresh water.
No, brackish water.
Oh, okay.
So we have like basically a cooler with ice and a slurry in it. We shake them right into that, and that basically shocks them, right? So it's a lot faster to be able to call crabs, like to sort them. But then when we put them into baskets or crates or whatever, they're also not like fighting, pinching each other. So you can pack them in there really nice. And then once the lid goes on them, they do not get touched again until they go to the customer. We keep them wet towels over them and stuff on the boat. They go right from the boat right into a refrigerator, and then they stay there until we're ready to sell them. And
out of water. You don't want them in water.
Yep. They'll live out of water. Crabs will live out of water up to like a week, actually.
Wow.
As long as you keep them, I set my stuff to like 51 degrees usually is kind of the sweet spot for refrigeration.
Oh, you can go too cold?
Yeah, too cold, it'll like really put them in a dormant state where...
Kill them.
Yeah, it'll kill them a lot of times, so you want to keep them docile and not, cold enough to not pinch each other, but still, active enough to be able to breathe. Really
they'll kill each other.
Yeah, that's like one of the biggest things is that, when they're fighting and all, you put them in there, they're just pinching on anything, and they're, they'll
ripping claws off and shit.
Yeah, they'll tear each other up. And then if you get like a dead crab in a basket, that dead crab will kill all the crabs around it too. So,
Oh, what do you mean? It like gives off like a...
It's like a gas or something when the crab dies that will suffocate the other crabs around it. So
no shit.
Yeah. So dude, there's a lot that goes into, doing
crabbing.
Yeah, and I always say like you can go crabbing and then you can make a living crabbing. There's a very big difference, and like the devil's kind of in the details.
Yeah, it's you and then me. I go out, 4 times, 5 times a year.
Yeah, and it doesn't. You're like, you're just catching a bushel or a couple or whatever, and eating them, and that's awesome,
Right.
But then to like, make sure you got bottom line at the end of the year in a business. You gotta, every single one counts really.
Well, you mentioned it's like a pretty old stock of age when it comes to commercial fishing, and I'm sure that's across. I'm sure there's more like tuna fishermen that are younger, a little hotter species or something, but like not many young crabbers, huh?
Yeah, unfortunately, commercial fishing all over the U.S. is not doing real great, especially in terms of getting younger people into it. And the biggest hindrance is really cost. Just operation cost, and cost to get into it. Like, man, if you were to try to get into crabbing now, you'd have to buy a a license, a permit that's, you could pay 30, 40 grand for the permit. And then, to buy a boat, if you were going to buy a new boat, even a wooden boat, you're looking at $150,000. And then to buy a rig of crab pots, you kind of need at least like 1,000 crab pots to really make a go at it. And unless you're working by yourself or something, but crab pots, $53, $54 a piece. You got a lot of money tied up in just gear. And then, operating costs for me, it's, it's a little over $1,000 a day just to leave the dock between bait, fuel, and help, insurance, maintenance, all that stuff.
Sure.
And then you're renting yards to be able to put stuff at trucks, there's just.
Got to sell a lot of crabs.
Yeah, man. I mean, it costs you $250,000 to get in the crab, and now.
Wow.
So, and that's a lot of fishing, commercial fishing all over, unfortunately, now, especially in an area like this, like in Maryland or wherever, where cost of living's high too. It's unfortunately, it's a hard thing for people to get into. And a lot of the older guys are kind of like not encouraging their kids to get into it because.
They're probably discouraging.
A lot of them have. Yeah. They're like, dude, if you want to do it, that's great. But if not, they're not pushing them. Because it's, a lot of them have had hard lives, and, but there's no union, there's no health care, it's up to you, and then you're determined by nature, and then, regulation, which is always getting tighter every year, it seems like. So it's kind of a perfect storm of reasons to not do it. So you kind of really got to be hell bent on it if you want to make a go at it.
Sure. And be kind of, I'm sure it's helped you too, right? Like to be able to really utilize social media and it's in a way that it's worked. I mean, that must have been a blessing in a way too.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if I didn't, looking back on it, I'm like, man, if I didn't do that, I don't know how I would have made it. Really, it's just so hard to get ahead. You kind of get into these spots where you can only do so much, especially with regulation. Like when I started, there wasn't limits on crabs in certain months and stuff like that, so you could really capitalize when you could. But now with, you having to hold multiple permits and put them in other people's names, and then there's certain limits on crabs in certain times of the year, it makes it really hard to capitalize. And, it's really hard to get ahead. You kind of like, I found I was kind of like hitting this point every year where I can only fish so much gear. I can only catch so many crabs in reality, and then you can only get so much for them. And when you're selling on the market, the wholesale market, the more crabs there are, the less they're worth. I was kind of in this rut where I was like, man, this is fine because I'm a bachelor and whatever, and I'm living in a basement apartment. But
right.
Also, I don't know how I'm ever going to get ahead if I don't like really change something drastically, like really roll the dice on something,
Yeah, hell yeah. Well, man, I take some listeners' calls, part of the show in the beginning. I do a little rant where I just talk, but I also take on calls now and answer people's questions. And one lady had kind of a similar applied. I feel like what your story could really be helpful to that lady as well is like, you got to really like it. If you, she was like about like opening up a business in cooking, which she loves to do, but wasn't sure if she wanted to make it a business or like take that leap at it. And I mean, I feel like just like you kind of did, like you got to want it. You got to really love that. And yeah, I guess, and just stick with it. It really sounds like it.
Yeah. You got to love it. Like you can't even just like it. I always say you got to be married to it.
Right.
Because it really is like, it's a lifestyle if you're gonna, for commercial fishing. I'm sure I know guys restaurants and stuff too, and it's the same kind of way.
Thing.
Like you're there all the time, especially in the beginning. You're there all the time, and then you have to figure out if you're gonna scale. You got to figure out how to make it. Even if you hire people, going from a job that requires other people to a business that can run, not necessarily without you, but without you being involved in every single step. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah,
and
for sure.
That took me a long time to figure out I'm still figuring out how to do that, but
Well, nowadays, man, I see you got a nice, you put an old boat, right? You got a nice store, kind of a little shop where you on this. Talk to me about that. It's like an old, what is it? An old lobster boat?
It's a crab boat. Yeah. So at the
There's a fucking
That's
lobster boat, man. Jesus Christ.
it's the North New England in you, man.
I guess so.
Um, yeah. So the crab stand now, went from pickup truck, a grass lot with a pickup truck, then slightly larger gravel lot with a trailer, and then now, yeah, I have a 41-foot wooden dead rise in the ground that we back the refrigerator trailer up to, and then like the whole boat is like a countertop basically.
Cool.
So we sell crabs right off the boat, without having people come down to the actual boat. I really originally wanted to have an actual floating boat and have like a dock or something where people could come, but there's a lot of logistics and all that kind of crap involved in that. So, I got an actual boat. It was sunk. I bought it on Facebook Marketplace for $700. I wanted to build a
Sweet.
building, but it was $250,000. And I was like, obviously I can't do that. So I bought a boat that was sunk for $700, towed it back, put it on the hard, and completely gutted it, tore it all down, rebuilt the entire thing, painted it up nice. And basically now it's just an open deck, so it's got a cabin on it, roof, everything, open deck. There's a whole video series on that. That's another thing where, like, with things like that, it's a great way to get your customer base involved in the story. You know what I mean? So, like, they see me go from a truck to a trailer and then have this crazy idea, which, like, to my knowledge, hasn't really been done, to, like, buy this boat, because people would always come to the stand. Everybody's got a story about how their granddad or somebody was a crabber and had this old boat, and everybody always wanted to come see my boat. And I was like, that's not realistic. So how can we, like, bring that experience to people, in kind of a interesting way? And so that's what we did. And now that's what we got. We got the boat, and it's got a lot of history too. The boat, it was built in Deltaville, Virginia, which is like ground zero for Chesapeake dead rises. It's like the most traditional kind of looking dead rise. It lived its life on Smith Island. They oystered, peeler potted. I've met the family that had the boat built for them. I kept the name, which was named after the guy's wife and daughter. The name of the boat is Dora Lynn, and his daughter's name was Lynn. His wife's name was Dora. The guy that owned it, his name was Harvey. So I kind of tried to really, I don't know, tell their story as well, because they're like really OG watermen from Smith Island, which is like an island in the middle of the Chesapeake, which is ground zero for crabbing. So I don't know. I really thought that was cool. And it's not painted up all stupid. I've worked hard to make it a traditional looking, it looks just like what your granddad would have crabbed on.
Right.
And whatever else. So yeah, I think it's pretty neat. People come from all over to see it. It's kind of like it's become accidentally sort of like a landmark in the area, because it's like a 41-foot crab boat buried in the ground. You know what I mean? It's like,
what a great idea, man. And I love your, because construction, it's wildly expensive. It seems everywhere. And like you said, you got a quote for $250,000. Like, so it's $700 boat, and I'm sure you put a ton of, of hours and work into it, but like, that's awesome. And it's cool that you could, it sounds like you filmed it too, man. Like, you got such a hustle to you, Luke. And I love that about you, man. Like, I wish I had a little bit more in me, to be honest, of like being able to film stuff like that and have that entrepreneurial type of, just strive there, man. Cause it seems like you really built something cool.
I appreciate it, man. I don't know. I mean, I kind of think a lot of stuff like that, like, I feel like it's stuff I would be doing whether I was filming it or not, like,
Right.
I just have like wild ideas sometimes.
Well, that's why it's good.
Right. And I'm like, I mean, hey, it's like a wild act of free will, right? And it's the same, like, people always say, like, you can just do it, right? So I did it. I had no idea if it was going to work. If I thought it was neat, tried it, worked out pretty good, but it was definitely not a traditional thing. But, I was like, is a block building, A, that's not that interesting. And B, it's not going to make $250,000 difference in my business. You know what I mean? There's alternatives you could probably do.
No, I think you nailed it. And to be honest, I think it was a home run what you did. I mean, what a better thing to look at. People, I mean, I think you hit it right on the head with that idea, man.
I guess, man. I mean, it's working for now, and I'm always shocked when people actually do show up and buy. I'm like, still, it's like wow, I'm so grateful for the people actually showing up and making this happen.
So you get folks
It's
from like
great.
on social media and stuff, and from that watch your shows and stuff. They'll come say hi and buy crap. What do you sell there?
We sell all live crabs. That's the only food we sell. But we sell shirts and hats and crab seasoning, paper,
You
hammers,
don't do
potato
you don't
chips, all
do
that stuff.
you don't do cooked crabs.
Just live.
Luke, get like 10 picnic tables out there and just steam crabs or have them cold, cracked with lemon or something. People will buy the shit out of that.
I know. I really would love to do it. There's a couple limitations. Number
Okay.
one, it's like a whole nother rig to buy. It's probably another $60,000 to buy a steam trailer. B, I don't have a very big lot, especially since I put a 40-foot boat there. I mean, my lot is only, like 50 by 120 or something. So I don't have a lot of space, especially for parking. Um, and then, you got to train people. There's a lot of logistics that go into making sure crabs are ready when people need them. I would love to do it. I'm mostly limited by space, though, honestly. Like,
Yeah.
I physically don't have enough room at the crab lot to really put that stuff. And I mean, we sell all the crabs we catch live. And so for right now, I would love to steam. It would totally make sense. But, for right now, people buy them live, and that's how we sell them.
Hey, well, no one was asking for fucking ideas here, Brad.
No, hey man, no, dude, I am always open to ideas. Trust
Yeah.
me. I'm always totally open to whatever. It's a great idea. It's just, I'm working on it. Hopefully one day. That's the goal.
Yeah. Heck yeah, man. And you get a lot of locals coming in too. You got like a nice little vibe going over there.
Yeah, we have a pretty decent local clientele. If I'm being honest with you, I built a lot of local clients when it was just me in a truck and a trailer. You know what I mean? Because people just knew I was there, and it was all pretty much all locals. We would have a couple people that would see me on TikTok here and there. But it was a lot of locals that were buying during the week and all that stuff as well. And then when the social media stuff really took off, kind of, really when I started focusing more on like YouTube, like long form, that builds a very dedicated audience. I actually lost a lot of my local clientele because people would show up at the crab stand and there was a line of fans, that were just wanting to meet me or just get a t-shirt or, whatever else. And they weren't as interested in the crabs. So I was actually struggling to sell the crabs. I was selling a lot more other stuff, but then I lost a lot of my local clients because I had to shut down the phone line because with, how it is, you couldn't have if you put your phone number out there, it would be wild. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not sure about that, but
but you'd have,
someone would probably call.
Right. So it was kind of another problem that I had to solve within business. You know what I mean? Like, so that took some kind of creative solutions to try to help get my local clientele back. Because I felt horrible that
what a crazy problem of like a good thing that causes, because I could see it like, they were all these other folks coming in here taking pictures, buying T-shirts and shit, and all of a sudden there's a line, and it's a whole mess of a show.
Yeah, they were show up, and they only knew me as their crab guy that was on the side of the road on Saturdays and Sundays, and they show up and they're like, "Why the heck are these people getting pictures, asking for pictures? Like what? Like
Right.
Who cares? You know what I mean? Like what the heck? And why is there a line? And why is he sold out of?" the things that I'm usually getting, it was like,
right.
It was definitely an interesting problem to have. So yeah, that took a little while to sort that out. Really the solution ended up being like, I kind of now basically I'm at the crab stand one weekend a month for both days. And I also was able to throughout the years, train and hire some people that have helped me for the last few years to basically run the crab stand without me.
That's huge.
So yeah, it is huge, especially for like your mental, just whatever you have left. But we advertise those weekends. So if you're just the locals know, maybe they don't want to get them on that weekend. Maybe if they want them, they might want to call and get them Friday.
Right.
And then, those weekends are, there probably will be a line, and it will probably be slow because people are wanting to talk, and which is great. But that's kind of been my solution for that weird problem.
Yeah, heck yeah. How's the crab population down there? It's been a pretty good season. I know there's always like talks of, or just, and how are they doing? Just because that's kind of the hub of it, right? I mean, Chesapeake Bay, that's it's one of probably the most famous thing that, what that's known for is crabs.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest, this year has been really good for me and a lot of other guys. I mean, there is always areas in the bay where they're not doing so great. It kind of changes with a lot of mostly
But they
weather
must
conditions
move
and things like that.
around and stuff,
Yeah, I mean,
right?
they're migratory, so they're always moving and changing patterns, especially with weather and rain and things like that. But this year, dude, honestly, has been like really good for me and a lot of other guys. And it kind of sucks because there's been a lot of really bad PR this year about the crab population in Maryland. And it's very frustrating because it's been really good for us, and they seldom reach out to actual people that are on the water doing it to ask what they see. And I've done I've done a couple interviews with news people this year, and it's been a little aggravating because, I've told them a really positive story about how it's going in the industry. And, it always seems to, when it comes out, they kind of pick and choose, whatever to kind of, it kind of seems like they already kind of had their narrative for the story picked up, picked
Sure,
out. And
sure.
so it's been a little bit frustrating because it really has been a good crab year for us. They're saying crab population's down or whatever, but I tell you, we're seeing a load of little crabs, which is so good to see, because
Right.
that is, not only are we catching nice market sized crabs, but
they're
we're seeing,
reproducing.
yeah,
Yes.
exactly. And we're seeing a load of crabs that are going to be our next year's crabs, and the year following. So for me, there's been a lot of hope, this year with the crab industry. The only thing we haven't seen a load of is like giant crabs. Like some years we have these runs of just absolute monster crabs. We haven't seen as many of those, but there's been a really, really healthy population of good market sized crabs and a super healthy population of small crabs that are going to be our crabs for the future. So, I'm hopeful.
How old is a market size crab?
I never asked one, but I would think probably like 2 years old. Maybe,
Okay.
maybe probably 2 year would be like a number one, which is 5 3/4 and over crab, 5 3/4 inch and over crab. So
Yeah, waters are looking good up there. You're on the water every day.
yeah, for the most part, we've had a lot of issues this year with bad water quality in certain areas. That's a whole nother freaking show, man. Like, we're very close to Baltimore City and the Conowingo Dam, which is what the Susquehanna River that flows through New York and Pennsylvania dump into. And so in the upper bay, we historically have issues with water treatment plants and things like that are
Runoff.
yeah, runoff, silt, and things that, create algae blooms, which is really what it is. And that sucks the oxygen out of the water. It's actually that,
Right.
the oxygen, the algae blooms and then it dies. And it's the decomposition of the algae that sucks the oxygen out. So we're having to hustle a lot of times and move gear around to keep it in good water. But besides that, everything's, pretty status quo.
Yeah, I remember when I was down hanging out and we were shooting video together. We were talking about that, and I just wanted to, and there was problems then with it, and it sounds like it's been going on for a while. You feel like you optimistic about it?
I don't know, man. I mean, in terms of that, that's a really tough. That's a really tough thing. It's just a big fish. You know what I mean? Because it's all politically determined and driven, and that's just such a, how that works. So, I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, there is definitely effort to clean things up and to keep it that way. And, like you remember you remember John, right? The guy that who invented the trash wheel. They're working on that stuff right now behind me. So, the things like that are awesome, and we're getting more of those. So it's really cut down on the amount of actual garbage that's floating in the bay. There's almost none, virtually none now. It's honestly in terms of litter, it's a very clean watershed for, considering how many people live in it. The biggest issue we have is runoff with
Well, it's
So many
such a
people living in it.
it's such a large system of the Northeast there,
Yeah.
and or just of the whole entire East there, I should say. Sorry, but like that, it's the massive amount of water that comes through there, and amount of like it's like any big water system. There's the human effect of it tends to be the problem.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is the case. There's more manicured lawns and golf courses than ever, and
Right.
when you spray that, you're putting fertilizer on stuff like that, it's got to go somewhere. And it
Yeah,
does
it
the
all
same thing
roll.
in the water as it does on land.
That's right.
And it's not always a net positive. So,
Hey, where's your I guess it's probably the end of the season, right? I mean, crabbing being a seasonal thing for you, right? It's
yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm probably going to be done. So crab season runs from April 1st until December 2nd or something, I think, now. And the reason for that is that a lot of times, like from now after like Labor Day on, the market starts to fall off a lot because kids are back to school, people aren't on vacation, that kind of stuff, especially selling live crabs. When people watch football, they kind of want to just pick up steamed crabs and be done with it. Um, so there's not a whole lot of sense in me going really late in the season,
yeah,
even
it's a
though
summer thing.
yeah, especially around here. So, when I used to sell wholesale, I would go the whole year, because I could move them if I had market.
You catch
But
them in the winter?
no, no. Well, I mean,
No.
like the whole season.
Yeah, yeah.
I'd try to crab basically as late as I could until the crabs dry. They would bury up, hibernate, usually November up here. But
Oh, is that what they do? They go down and they in the mud.
yeah, so kind of like the life cycles, like a lot of times they start, like especially our little crabs, like the giant biomass that we're probably going to work on, starts in Virginia waters, which is like 200 miles south of here. And it's a lot of your little males and your big mature females, and they're going to move up the bay. And then, everywhere they go, they're going to be kind of dropping off some, and they're shedding and growing as they get up, go up the bay. They want that fresher water. And then once they're kind of not, the water gets colder, they're not going to shed really anymore. They'll start working their way back down the bay.
Hmm.
But then the big crabs, a lot of times, like the bigger crabs that are um, not going to shed again, they'll just stay wherever they are. You know what I mean? They'll just bury up in the mud. And so that kind of gives us crabs to be able to work on in the springtime, because those are going to be the first ones we catch when they wake up, in the spring. Then it kind of just turns the cycle again.
Yeah.
So,
Cool. So where can folks check where is your boat, your shop at?
in Glen Burnie, Maryland, the address is 7333 East Furnace Branch Road in Glen Burnie. And we're open Saturdays and Sundays, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. It's first come, first serve, live crabs. We got t-shirts, hats, chips, all that kind of stuff. You could also order the crabs online from Jimmy's Famous Seafood. They have my, specific crab. You can get the actual crabs that I catch myself, like on there. We'll ship them anywhere in the country. Yeah, I mean, if you want to see the story, if you just look up, my name on any platform, YouTube, whatever. There's a lot of fake pages out there. So look for the ones with the little blue check.
Fake pages, huh?
Dude, oh my
People
gosh.
knocking your stuff off?
Bro, it's insane, especially on Facebook. There's literally hundreds of them. And I don't know how to get rid of them. So it's pretty wild. So we gotta, I've had all kinds of, you wouldn't believe the stories about those things,
Really?
Oh man, yeah, dude. People like,
But they just repurpose your content, or?
yeah, they just like everything I do, they take it and like just upload it to other pages and like fake pages. And then a lot of times they'll be sharing crazy stuff, like, just wildly inappropriate stuff or disgusting stuff, or like, we've also had pages where people are pretending to be me, taking orders for crabs, stealing people's credit card information, just like,
No.
dude, oh my gosh, it's been such a racket. And
Scumbags.
dude, I know, man. And we've gone down the whole IP, copyright infringement, everything. And as fast as we can get them taken down, there's another one the next day. So definitely look, like all my pages have the little blue check or whatever now. So those are the real ones.
Jeez Louise, man.
Yeah, it's a racket, bro. And the Facebook page, if you want more information about crabs themselves, buying the crabs, it's FV Southern Girl Bodkin Point Seafood with the blue check, because that's like the name of my business in the boat. All right, so today
Let's go.
is the launch day for my merch brand. So we've been working on, thank you. We've been working on this for like a year, dude, like trying to.
Oh, I know all about it. Mine's coming soon, Luke. It's
Really?
coming real soon. Yeah, like days away.
Dude, heck
Pain
yeah,
in the
that's so
ass.
awesome. Dude, oh my gosh, bro. It's taken me and like
Gosh,
a small team of people
it's ridiculous.
almost a year. I mean, just yeah, you know the headaches. Like
It's
to
ridiculous.
make a tag out brand, is like just a racket. So today is the first launch day. It actually just launched with my YouTube video that went out this morning. So
All right.
I'm super excited. I'm hoping it goes well because
Well, check it out. Check Luke out. Get some crabs. Watch his story. Watch him on the things. He's the best, man. That's how I found him. Before I did a video and stuff with him, just always been a fan. Check him out if you can. It's the best. And Luke, before I forget, I have some questions I always like to ask before
goodasused.com. That's the merch site. Good as used.
Good as used. Great name.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
All right. Love the congrats on that, man. That's freaking awesome. I'll check it out.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Let me know when yours comes out. I would love to check that out. That'd be great.
Hey, before I forget, what's the biggest crab you ever caught?
Was
Point to point, we're talking.
9.25 inches point to point.
9.25?
Monster, bro. And it had both claws. It had like a 20. You held it out, it was like 23 inches or something like that. It was an absolute jumbo.
Where'd that thing come from? Thailand, dude?
Bro, I caught it like out in the middle of I remember where I caught it. It was like out in the middle of the freaking bay in like 30 foot of water on this giant mud flat, like in the middle of nowhere. It was just.
What was he doing? Eating freaking flounder?
Dude, I guess. I don't know. He was eating good though. He barely, I don't know how you can fit the crab pot.
Wow. Jeez, seriously. That's
A monster.
Hey, weirdest thing you ever pulled up in a crab trap?
A lie, like a fish thing, or like a
open category.
We've had we get a lot of weird stuff that runs down the river, and we've had some adult toys that have somehow flowed into crab pot. I mean, you wouldn't believe the stuff that gets stuck.
No.
And some it's one of the jokes, okay, another guy or whatever mess with you, but there's some that are undeniably, came down the river, and I'm like, it's amazing how many of them there are out there.
That hog just came flying down the river right into your crab trap. Sure it did, Luke.
Yeah, it was shocking to say the least. Definitely interesting.
Best soft shell crab sandwich you ever had in your life?
Come on, man, the one you made right here in the summer kitchen. I tell you, I'm serious. I'm serious. That was the best. Not only the best looking, but also the best tasting soft crab sandwich ever, unanimously among everybody that was here. I'm serious. My wife still talks about it. She's like,
yes,
you gotta have Brad back down. He's gotta cook some more of those crabs and stuff. He was a cool dude.
Yes, sir. Man, I'll have to come down. Young advice for anyone wanting to get into commercial fishing or crabbing specifically.
Find a captain that is looking for help. Do not try to go and roll, do not put yourself in the financial spot to have it all be on your shoulders. If you really think it's something you want to do, there's plenty of captains that need help. It's very hard to find good help these days. Go get a job with him and do everything he does. I mean, show up 10 minutes early, pay attention also to what he does and how he does it. And then when he goes to run crabs, go with him. When he goes to pick up bait, go with him. And there's plenty of captains looking for help. So that's my advice to all young people trying to get into it.
Phenomenal advice in just about any type of job or passion category, to be honest. Great answer.
And then just be like relentlessly dedicated to the success of whatever it is you're deciding to do. Like, you know what I mean?
You should be a fucking motivational speaker.
Heck no. No.
Let's go,
I'm good.
Big money. All right. Last thing, man. And, anything. All right. The gig's up. Luke, you're fucked, bud. You're getting the electric chair. Last meal, Luke. What do you want? Is it mac and cheese with fucking hot sauce? What is it? What are we eating?
Dude, I think I want just a massive pile of snow crabs.
Oh.
And butter to dip it in. pile of scallops and a pile of blue
Ooh.
crab claws, jumbo blue crab claws, man. Like, I know you
Cracked
eat the
already?
whole crab, but my claw's my favorite part. Like, dude, I could just, and I've never really had king crab. I hear that's really good too.
It doesn't suck, Luke.
I hear it's good, but dude, every time I go to buy, it's like $80 a pound, and I'm like,
You and I should go to Alaska. I'm going to talk to my friends.
bro,
in
that would be
Utah.
sick, dude.
You
That'd
and
be
I
super
should go.
sick.
I'm going to take the crabbing up in Alaska. We're going to catch those dinosaurs. The meat, it's like it's unbelievable.
Yeah. That's what I hear, man. I've seen it. I've just never had it. I mean,
You've never had it?
I think maybe I've had it in something, but I've
That's a
never
great idea.
just had it. But it looks great, and
Oh my God.
I love
Great answer.
Last meal, bro.
Mountain.
Fresh caught scallops and pile of snow crab, pile of blue crab. I'd be done. What about you, dude? I gotta ask
That's
you
a
because
great answer, man. That's a great. I really like that, and I can. Depending on the day, I could almost say the same damn thing. I might throw some steamers in there just for the hell of it.
Yeah.
But I love that. Just a fucking dump truck full
just
of food.
go at it. Like,
A 55-gallon drum of melted garlic butter and just literally kill myself of gout before fucking they get me.
Oh, yeah.
My answer, the other one too, I'm stealing. I don't have any original answers. Was I asked Jacques Pepin, who was the legendary chef and video personality, and just, I mean, he's 90 something years, he's 100 years old, he's a freaking legend, and he said I would have a very long meal, like a lot of courses. He said I would have just like a 30-course meal of of his favorite things, and I thought that was good. But yours is probably
a great
more
idea.
realistic.
That's a great idea. But I like I kind of like simple. Just like find the one thing you love the most and just freaking put yourself in the grave over it.
I want that right now. That sounds delicious.
Dude, that's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying.
Let's cook together soon, and I'm going to work on me and you going to Alaska. That's a real talk right there.
That'd be cool, man. Let me know. I'm down.
All right, Luke. Thanks for hanging, bud. Good seeing you, and we'll talk soon, man.
This episode was produced by Leone and Carolyn Gagnon in partnership with Studio 71. It was edited by Capt Brunotts with music by Harrison Menzel.